Hello comrades, it's Red Army 1. It's been a little while since I've made a video, I apologize, but I have a chance now, so I thought I'd talk about something I haven't shown at all, I think. I might have talked about it in previous videos, but I haven't shown it at all, and it's this. The M40 German Wehrmacht pattern camouflage smock. The camouflage smock came about, this pattern, in 1940, obviously because Model 40. This type of camouflage, this specific, it's called, I personally call it like splotch or dotted, though it's not. It's called plain tree, and this is, I believe, Model 1 plain tree, and then Model 2 plain tree came out in 1942. So Model 1 plain tree is not that bad. I quite like it. It looks very nice. I've worn this when it was autumn and the fall, and yeah, it blends in quite nicely with the leaves and the pattern and everything. So it's quite nice. It is reversible from the autumn-fall side to the spring-summer side. I don't know if you can see the green. Yeah, oh, there you go. You can maybe see the green all up in here. The summer side is green, black, and brown, whereas the fall and autumn side is gray, black, and orange. It has a lace-up. It's laced from about just above the belly button upward. The elastic band for the waist is just about at the belly button. You can pull it down and adjust it to sort of your size. If I stretch my arms up and everything, we get this sort of, I don't know, sort of bubbled over effect, and that's just like if you've worn chainmail or something, that's if this were the belt, this is the chainmail. Sort of folds over is all that is. And it's just above the belly button when it's like that. So I like to keep it nice and low and about down just at my waist. This comes to about my hips, actually. It's just above where my belt is on my trousers, and then here is the elastic. So it's quite nice. It has two waist pockets here. The buttons sadly have fallen off on this one. I gotta sew them back on, but for now I'm just leaving them. And the pockets, if you switch it to the summer side, do fold out, and they are to match the autumn side once they're in there. It has slits in the shoulders for your armpits to breathe, sort of, because if you have your woolen tunic on underneath this, you're gonna sweat very much. I wore my M36 tunic that I have underneath this, and within a few minutes I was really sweaty because, one, it's wool, and number two, it's just the movement of it. I was getting quite hot and everything, and even these little vents in the armpit, they didn't help much, but I feel as though without them I would have just had a huge pit stain in the M36, and then probably would have gone through and pit stained the camouflage. So they help a little bit. I have on my head with this, just to sort of give it the ROA feel, is my M36 side cap with the modern Cossack insignia and the eagle and swastika, white for infantry. I just wore it right on my head just to keep it nice and tight, but as I said before, the ROA would shape them almost to a very nice point, like the pilotka, like this, and then they just pull down on the back, and then that would fasten it. And it's not moving around at all. So, yeah. The cuffs on the M40 plain tree smock are elastic as well, both of them. They have, I folded it in, but they have this extra sort of hand bit on here. A lot of people like to fold this in because it's just, you know, doesn't really do anything. It's just a bit annoying to have, you know, your rifle or anything in here and have this and it get caught on things. So a lot of people just tuck them in. The SS during the Second World War did that all the time. Every single picture you see of the SS, usually they tuck them or fold the cuff in, because look at how nice it looks when the cuff is folded in to the elastic as opposed to out. Because with this, if this is my fire hand, my trigger finger, I'm going to come up, maybe get this caught on the bolt sometimes, and it's going to get caught in things. It might even get caught when I push forward on the bolt, and I'll have to, you know, it gets caught on things, as opposed to nice and tight in the cuff. Nothing's going to, you know, get caught in there, nothing's flopping around. This is, but this isn't going to come in contact with my hand at all. So if you do have one of these or any other type of smock, I do recommend folding in the extra cuff material just to keep it sort of together, I guess. Not much else to say about this, really. The M40. It's got 2 waist pockets, lace up, armpit vent holes, extra cuffs folded in, elastic cuffs, elastic waistband, reversible. So I'll just give you sort of a turnaround here. So yeah, I quite like when I look at myself in the mirror with this. I quite like how the fabric, it kind of here's pretty well the actual side of my body, and then here's the sleeve. I like how we get this extra bit of material here. I quite like that. And just an interesting fact about any of the World War II German smocks after 1940, so 1940, 1942, etc. models, they were actually based off of Georgian-style dress shirts. If you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean or pirate movies or something, pretty well Renaissance pirate shirts, you know, where they're white, they're lace-up, they have a collar, the extra plume on the cuffs. That's what they're based off of. The Germans took that because it's a very imperial look, it's a very imperial Prussian traditional look, so they took that, said, hey, we could do something with this, and they elasticated all of the tie cuffs and everything, pretty much gave it a camouflage pattern, took off the collar though, because this is to be worn over top of your tunic, where it will have the collar, or your shirt, or whatever, and then made it a camouflage smock. Another thing with these is it has on here, you might be able to make it out, it has 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 foliage loops. That's for, you know, when you're in forests, fields, anything like that, you can pull on tall grass or branches, tie them on and around yourself, and then it'll give you somewhat of better camouflage. Not really, though. If you're in grass, like tall grass on the eastern front, it will a bit. But if you're in, say, Battle of the Bulge, western front, I find personally, you have, you know, the ropes and branches and things hanging off of yourself. You're running through the woods. It's gonna get caught on things. They're gonna rip off. You're gonna get pulled and yanked and stuff. You're gonna fall over here and there. So I don't recommend doing that. A lot of the original models have the foliage loops just ripped off because a lot of guys are walking, they get caught on a branch, and they're like, well, I'm stuck, and it always happens. So now I guess I'll show you some other models of hats that the ROA and Germans would have worn on the Eastern Front with this smock. As I said, this is the M36. The M40 also would have been worn as the same style, but we have the M40, M42, 43 cap, etc., etc. Helmet, obviously. And this being the model 1942-43 enlisted man's field gray cap would have been worn. As a visor, as the M42 style fold down cover, and again the ROA insignia on there. So I personally like to wear this and this as my late war gear. I have my German collared shirt and like undershirt, and I'm going to order an HBT tunic to wear with this, just so I can wear it as late war type gear and have a collar on here. When I have a collar on there, it looks flawless. It looks amazing, and it all sort of comes together as a nice uniform. And then this is the ROA Kuban, or Kubunker hat, worn specifically by the Cossacks of the ROA. It's black sheep fur with a red felt top and white ribbon on top. You can also wear it a number of ways. This is just the straight standard up. You can wear it in the wintertime to the side, kind of like this, and it doesn't move around all that much. All the hats don't, so it's quite nice. The ROA and the Cossacks on the Eastern Front fighting for the ROA, they preferred to wear these because these are traditional Cossack hat. Fathers, grandfathers would have worn these hats in the Imperial Russian Army, the early days of the Russian Revolution, things like that. And they preferred these to helmets because they're lighter. They're, as I said, a traditional piece of Cossack clothing, and they, in a way, cushion the blow of things. They will not stop a bullet. Obviously, this is just a hat. There is the old Cossack belief that the cross on top of the Cossack's Kuban hat will save him because God will look down upon him, and when he's in trouble will save him because he sees the cross on his hat. That's a legend, but the Cossacks before the revolution and in the Imperial Russian Army strongly believed in that belief. So, but in the ROA in the Second World War, it's just sort of, you wear this to identify you're a Cossack in the summer, keeps you warm in the winter, and it's just sort of something you would wear in battle to identify yourself as non-German. So I think that's about everything. Talked about the smock, camouflage, what it's based off of, additions to everything, different headgear. That's pretty much all from my end. Another thing you've probably seen in this video is I have fingerless gloves on. This isn't for any particular reason. It's just because I had them on. Although Germans and Russians would have had them in the Second World War if they're snipers. So it's a nice little thing to have, I guess. So until next time, comrades, Red Army 1, signing off.